show on and another event on the Constitutional Convention Initiative. This evening, we are highly honored to have a special guest join us this evening, and it is Viggo Mortenson. Perhaps many of you know him as Aragorn in the trilogy The Lord of the Rings. Viggo is an activist. He is against militarism and U.S. foreign policy. And now it is my honor and yours to introduce Viggo Mortenson.
Nice to be here. I'm a bit of a gate crasher. I'm unplanned, therefore I have no chair. But I'm proud to be standing in front of this fine poster. Actually, you did say something that I have to take issue with. I'm not against U.S. foreign policy. I wish we had U.S. foreign policy. But I am against current U.S. foreign policy. I would call it thanks, China, keep the change at the moment. But I think these gentlemen will provide you with a serious discussion of the U.S. Constitution. I'm sure they won't take themselves too seriously, and hopefully you won't either. And hope it'll be enjoyable. Since I'm a crasher, I'm not going to delay too long, but I assume that many of you, hopefully all of you, are here for the same reason I am. I'm here to support not only the Constitution, but Dennis Kucinich for president. And one of the reasons, and this does have something to do with the Constitution, so I won't stick out too badly here. And one of the things that I admire about Dennis Kucinich is that he stands for this.
Yeah!
I'll just read I'll read Article 2, Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. That's in there. It's about time we should be doing something about that, as he's been saying, with the gentleman in power at the moment. Also, since we're in New Hampshire, 8 years after that, after 1776 and 1784, the New Hampshire Bill of Rights, Article 10, the right of revolution, kind of speaks to what's necessary now as well. It says, the doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. Good on you, New Hampshire. So being independent-minded and proud citizens of the United States, I think the people of New Hampshire will see the good sense in what Dennis Kucinich has been saying and maybe help him, give him the ability to do more good for us. I mean, when you have someone who speaks up for you as congressman, just as he did as mayor of Cleveland, who stands up for people and is consistent and doesn't change his message, doesn't change his the tone of his message, his accent, anything. It doesn't matter where he is in the country, whether he's in New Hampshire or the Deep South or out west or in New York City. He's saying the same thing over and over again, and he doesn't care. I mean, I'm sure, like others, it hurts his feelings if people don't like him either at times. But just because you call him a traitor or at best naive, it doesn't mean he's going to change doing what's right. He's proven that over and over the years. To have a politician running for president who actually stands up for himself the way he does, who stands up for the Constitution truly, where it isn't just talk, imagine what it would be like to actually have that person as president looking out for you. It would just be such a change. That would truly be change, not the change that they're talking about right now. Suddenly this week everything's changed. I don't think so, unfortunately. So anyway, I'll turn it over to these gentlemen. Thank you. I hope you enjoy yourself in your time. I look forward to learning.
Thank you, Viggo Mortenson. The mission statement for the Constitutional Convention Initiative. The Constitutional Convention is a project that will elevate the awareness of the citizens of the United States that their Constitution and their form of government are in severe danger. The initiative is designed to promote the preservation of the Constitution and a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. To these ends, the goals of the initiative are: 1. Inform the people. 2. Deliberate the information and issues. 3. Act. This is the second in a series of 3 panels on significant issues confronting our Constitution and our nation. The first panel on the Bill of Rights is archived on KucinichTV.com. You can view that from your computers. Tonight's event is being broadcast live from the studios of Manchester Community Access Media and is being live streamed on KucinichTV.com. The theme of tonight's panel is Separation and Balance of Power. I am once again honored to welcome John Kucinich, Chair of Maine Lawyers for Democracy and spokesperson for the Northeast Impeachment Coalition, who will set the stage for this evening's panel discussion. John?
Thank you, Herb, and thank you, Congressman Kucinich, for holding this series on the Constitution. It is so crucial that these issues be kept in the light of day, because if our Constitution and our form of government slips away from us, it will slip inch by inch in the dark of night. And it is really holding these issues up to the light of day that make all the difference in preserving our Constitution. And tonight's forum is about that. I'm going to talk about separation of powers as the basic framework of our constitutional form of government. And my talk tonight is divided into 2 parts. First of all, a refresher course on the separation of powers and its importance. And second, a review of the ways that separation of powers is now under attack by the Bush-Cheney administration with the assistance of a compliant Congress. So let me turn first to the refresher course. Separation of powers. The concept sounds sort of dry, but we might also think about it as prevention of dictatorship. We might also think about it as prevention of a tyrannical monarchy, because that's the way that the founders of our Constitution and our nation saw separation of powers. The way that we ensure our country continues to be governed by the people's representatives and by the Constitution. The founders were extremely concerned that our country not be a monarchy or a dictatorship, and that there be a system in place to keep it from evolving into one. They were very concerned that the natural tendency of those in government is to keep grabbing and using more and more power, unless that power is kept in check. And all we need to do is look at the Bush-Cheney administration today for validation about that being the attitude of people in power. So our founders created a system, separation of powers, checks and balances to prevent any one person or group from having unchecked power. Basically, the legislative branch or Congress makes the laws, the executive branch or the president enforces the laws, and the judicial branch or the courts interpret the laws and the Constitution. Let me talk about some of the checks and balances that are built into this system. First of all, legislation and lawmaking. As we all know, Congress has the power to make laws, but the President has the power to veto bills that have been passed by Congress. Congress could, if it chose to, override the veto by a 2/3 vote. The power to legislate, the power to make laws is shared in that the President provides a check on Congress and vice versa. Courts can, of course, judge the constitutionality of a law after it has been enacted. Another area of checks and balances is the budget process. Congress enacts budgets and taxes, borrowing and spending,